As a preliminary note, this walk was originally done and published on June 28, 2023, which predates the Palisades fire that ravaged through Pacific Palisades in January 2025. The information in this walk is not outdated, but the photos you'll see of Pacific Palisades predate the fire. Welcome everyone to Walkathon Wednesday. We are back in West Los Angeles. Today we are in a neighborhood called Sawtelle, which is an area that I didn't feel warranted a walk on its own, so we're kind of combining a few different areas together here. We're starting here in Sawtelle, and then we're going to move up to north to a neighborhood called Brentwood, and these are both in between two areas that we've already covered, which are Santa Monica and Westwood. In fact, those were some of the first walks that we did. So we're going to cover both of those today, and then we're going to follow Sunset Boulevard all the way west to Pacific Palisades, which is one of the most affluent neighborhoods in the entire city. And so I kind of thought it would be cool to cover that today, since we've been spending a lot of time in some of the least affluent areas. So figured we'd do kind of a 180. The route today is certainly a bit unorthodox, but it's mostly an effort just to get these last few areas into our schedule here, because we've covered pretty much everything else on the west side. So I definitely want to do my due diligence and get these in. I do think today is going to be a more casual walk. I don't think it's going to be super busy, just because there's not really a ton of stuff that I have to say about each of these individual little neighborhoods we're going to walk through, but there are a few things to say about them. So I'm just going to appreciate it for what it is, and yeah, let's get right into the day here. Sawtelle has a very urban vibe, with lots of plazas like the ones you see here. Sawtelle Boulevard is known for excellent dining, with a huge concentration of Japanese restaurants. In fact, Sawtelle Japantown used to be called Little Osaka, due to its notable Japanese-American population. Japanese immigrants had begun settling here around 1900. That's because at the time, neighboring communities like Westwood excluded minorities. Sawtelle was a city of its own, until 1922 when LA annexed it. Many cafes here have a more down-to-earth local feel compared to other areas in LA, especially here on the west side. Here you get a more familiar LA sight. Note also the name of the street. Approaching Wilshire, we are at the northern end of Sawtelle, entering Brentwood. It's a commercially developed strip. You may recall that Wilshire Boulevard as a whole is the center of many neighborhoods in LA. So we are on Wilshire looking east right now, and if you were to continue along this direction, you would end up in Westwood and Westwood Village, which we walked through quite a few months ago now. You can go back and check that out. And so if we go west this way, we would end up in Santa Monica. And you take it far enough, you would end up right at the beach of the Pacific Ocean. Unlike its neighbors, Brentwood is the quieter, highly wealthy area that is covered with greenery. How much of it is native is another question. It has one main commercial strip, San Vicente Boulevard, which they are currently repaving. Let's take a look at the Brentwood Gardens. It's a plaza and shopping center with all the higher-end amenities you might expect. The black and white aesthetic often coincides with luxury. This is not just perceived in architecture, but in all forms of branding. Interestingly, there are studies that explore the black and white look and its attractiveness to perceived luxury. Like my makeshift crane shot? Okay, enough escalator excursions. Let's go. Alfred Coffee is a staple LA chain, and every time I visit this specific location in Brentwood, which is not that often, I always tend to meet aspiring writers. I guess everyone needs a place to cope. Where has this gas station been all my life? We need some of these over in South LA. Gotta keep all these lawns green somehow. The back streets of Brentwood move starkly away from the urban atmospheres around Wilshire and into the luxury suburban living that defines the area. Lush isn't always the first word that comes to mind in LA's arid climate, but it seems to apply here. Yes, there are mansions here, big ones, though most of them are hidden by way of massive hedge walls. Now I feel like I'm back in Buckhead. Alright guys, get used to this scenery, because this now begins our 6-mile trek west across Sunset Boulevard. We're going to the Pacific Palisades. While you may associate Sunset with Hollywood and other busy commercial strips, the street actually changes a lot as it cuts through each neighborhood. The boulevard is 22 miles long, stretching from downtown LA to the Pacific Ocean. We're much closer to the latter. Because we're in the foothills now, the road curves much more. Also, what's up with this sidewalk? You thought I was kidding about the hedge walls? They're thicker than the sidewalk. Okay, well, now there's no sidewalk at all. I guess pedestrians aren't really a thing out here. Hey, I know I said I need to be surrounded by greenery, but this isn't what I meant.
This is not even safe to be like walking on right now. This board is completely loose. Wow, this is just not, oof.
Ah, here we go. A little room to breathe. Let's see how long it lasts. This ugly fence destroys the whole photo, but try to look past that, literally, to see how high up we are. Summers in LA can be hotter than hell, but here in the Palisades, we get the cool ocean breeze that keeps the temperature much lower than areas more inland. It is just a beautiful walk, despite being full of dangerous traps.
So we are in the foothills here, and you can see just the gorgeous view we get from here. There's a lot of curvature coming up here on Sunset as we approach Palisades.
But first, enjoy the view a little longer.
It is so quiet right now. And as I say that, here comes some cars behind me. Yeah. The little things in life, right?
Alright, this is a little ridiculous. I might be the first person traversing the street today.
Okay, this is actually kind of insane to me. And the fact that there's a bus station right here. Look at that. There's no sidewalk, but there's a bus station. Okay, it's quiet now, so I think I'm safe to go around this corner. Holy...
Look, a pedestrian. He's going off into the woods. Might not be a bad idea at this point. So Google wanted me to go down this road, but what they left out was that it's private. Let's find out what's so wrong with staying on Sunset.
Alright, I think I see why Google was taking me on that other route, because there is no sidewalk. How lovely. Although it could be argued that the sidewalk has been missing for large chunks of this particular hike. There is a sidewalk over there, but the only way to get to it is to make a very perilous crossing here, which I am somewhat doubting I should do. So I think we're just going to continue along here.
I ended up making the perilous crossing. Absolutely no margin for error on the other side. We made it to the Pacific Palisades. Palisades is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in LA, as well as having one of the lowest population densities. Its main draw? Geographical location. It is one of the few neighborhoods with direct access to both the beach and the mountains. This is less than a mile from the beach. The main commercial center is Palisades Village, basically a local, lesser-known version of Rodeo Drive that might even be more upscale. Oh yeah, this is the only public place I have seen with water bottle refilling stations. How convenient for me right now. This village is exactly what you might expect luxury Los Angeles to feel like.
Alright guys, well, we have made it to Palisades Village, and I am now going to have lunch, which I definitely need after all of that. So yeah, what I can say about this walk is what I thought was going to be a very casual stroll through the neighborhood actually ended up being quite an adventure. And it's one that I definitely needed. It was really good to get out and get a good change of scenery, which I haven't had in a little bit. So this was really fun for me. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Definitely a stylistically different walk. And as usual, I will be posting the full route. Once I publish a post about the walk, you guys will get the full route. So that's going to be it for the day. My next adventure, which is to get home, awaits me. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.